Hi, everybody. I thought that I would just send a quick video that is just a recap for what we covered at the meeting that was last month. Oh my gosh, almost a month ago. So I just want to go through a couple things. Number one, if you would send me, if you haven't already, your flight seat preferences. So let me know if you'd like an aisle seat, window seat, middle seat. If there's anybody you'd like to be sure to sit next to. Um, then I can go ahead and schedule the flights if that ends up being up to me. Your passport. I know I got copies of one of your passports. Monica, I have your passport, but if you haven't sent me a copy of your passport, I need that. It didn't used to be the case, so Cha-Cha and Jaja. I know that I don't think I had to have that from you guys, but I need them now. So if you could send me a copy of your passport, if you could also go to the website on EF and download and fill out that form that asks for any medical info, so emergency contact, any kind of medications that you're taking, any kind of allergies or health info that I need to know. I need to carry that with me on the trip at all times. I don't know if you guys remember Chacha and Jaja, that we had that woman who got the allergic reaction. So I need to have that information with me again at all times. So if you can get that to me, if you haven't already, I would appreciate that. Um, what else? If you haven't switched your manual payment, I think this has already been covered because you needed to switch by February 15th, but just want to check the balance. The trip needs to be paid in full by May 11th, which is 25 days before we depart. So now I want to go over this travel group info sheet that I emailed you guys. So just about money, spending money. Our average budget is $40 to $60 per day, but it depends upon you. The only tipping that we're now required, I know in past trips we had to require for our tip for our bus drivers and for our local guides, but now it's only the tour director. So, and that ends up being $6 a day in 13 days. $78. Please have this money ready in cash by our last day. You can either tip in local currency or you can tip in US dollars. It's completely up to you. But if you do tip in local currency, make sure you do the not translation, but currency transfer. I forget what it's called. um, let's see. It's your choice to tip the hotel or cruise staff. One thing that I usually do too is I bring little gift cards for Starbucks for the flight. So our flight attendants usually have 4 for the international flights and 2 for local flights, and we'll have a flight there and back, maybe 2 flights. We'll know probably another month. We'll know our flights. But we're going to have at least 1 flight while we're local from Florence to Rome. No, I'm sorry, from Rome to Athens. So I just like to keep a bunch of just $5 Starbucks gift cards to give to the flight attendants. And I've noticed that once I give those and share those, oftentimes they're a lot more receptive if I have a question or a need, or sometimes they've brought me champagne. They've got me little travel kits. So it's just a little nice thing to do. Do you have to do it? Absolutely not. It's totally up to you. Exchanging your money, we recommend that you exchange a little bit of money, excuse me, prior to your trip, and that you do it not in the airport, but I don't think I've ever been together enough to do that. So I usually end up exchanging. That's the word, exchanging. Excuse me. I end up exchanging in the airport. So, but you want to land with a little bit of money in case we have a little bit of a delay, because once we land, depending upon where we are and what our flight is, we're going to be meeting our other groups because we'll be joining 2 other groups. One of them is, I think, from Alabama and the other one from Georgia. So depending upon when their flights arrive, we might have a little bit of a wait in the airport. So you want to have local money, local currency. I've given you a place to exchange money if you'd like to do it beforehand. Here's what I found to be some local places that give you a pretty good exchange rate, and they don't charge too much for a fee. Let's see, extending your room, upgrading your room. It's already passed, so I'm working on getting one person's room upgraded, and it shouldn't be a problem, but I'll let you guys know. Contact and communication. It is a must that you have some way for me to get in touch with you, some kind of cell phone. And you can either get a local card or you can do an international plan, which is what I recommend. Because I know that when we did the SIM card exchange, it was kind of tough to find when we were in Costa Rica. It might be easier when we're in Europe, but I think getting an international plan on your current phone is easiest, but it's totally up to you. What else? I would recommend getting WhatsApp so that we can email each other and do video, FaceTime and stuff. It's not FaceTime, but it's video, sorry, through WhatsApp. That's a really good app. I already said traveler health and medical info and your emergency contact list are 2 items that I need. I also recommend that you email a copy of all your important documents, like your passport, like photos of all of your ID cards, like your health ID card, or if you're a minor and you're still covered, not a minor, but if you're still covered under your parents' insurance, maybe their health insurance card, driver's license, some forms of ID besides passport. So I just email those to myself, so in case I need it, I have access to it. There's lots of videos about traveling with EF. I know that Chacha and Jaja, you guys already have traveled, so you know what to expect, but any of you others who haven't, this might be helpful. You can just go to go on YouTube and EF traveling with EF. They have tons of videos. So, and some people did, some travelers with EF did them themselves. EF has a couple as well. General travel advice: load up on Emergen-C at least 2 weeks before we travel, because you're going to be exposed to a lot of new germs and bacteria, and you just want to make sure that you stay healthy for the trip, because it's a bummer when you get sick on the trip. I was sick one day when we were in Italy, and I was okay. I was still able to travel around, and anyway, so I recommend loading up on vitamin C, and I will be sending out reminders for that. Email copies of your documents, carry business cards of the hotels, and I'll remind you to do that. I'll usually collect those business cards just so that you can find your way back. If you end up getting separated from the group, you decide you want to go grab a meal or do some extra shopping or do another more sightseeing, so you can come back. Small purse and wallet is recommended. Backpacks, usually you have to check them if you go into museums and churches. They're gonna want to see inside. I recommend just small bags. Dress in layers and comfortable shoes. So in Italy, actually it was when we were in Greece, in Delphi, it did sprinkle a little bit. So having some kind of like little lightweight jacket or something that you can put over yourself to stay dry. We're leaving a little bit later than the last trip I did to Italy, Greece, so hopefully the weather will be a little warmer. But when you go into churches, you can't wear tank tops, so you need some kind of sweater or wrap, something to cover your shoulders, and you don't want to wear short shorts. They say, skirts to the knee, but just keep that in mind when we go into churches. And again, dress in layers, wear comfortable shoes. For me, I found that my most comfortable shoes were open shoes. So I have some Birkenstocks that have good arch support, and my feet breathe, and they're just the most comfortable. So I discovered that when I did the trip to Italy, Greece. So that was great. And I wore them all through Spain, all through Costa Rica. So it was awesome. So I would, if you buy new shoes, wear them all day, at least a couple times before. Because if not having the right shoes can cause blisters, which can really negatively impact your trip. Almost every trip I've been on, I've had a traveler, sorry, teaching mode. I've had a traveler who had blisters on their feet, and it totally cut into their enjoyment of the trip. Bad, almost every trip. So I always carry blister band-aids just for my travelers who have that issue, but it's best if you just don't have that problem at all, so you can walk and walk and walk, and it won't bother you. Learn a few phrases in Italian and Greek, especially do you speak English, and I'm sorry and thank you. I find that if you're polite and if you say I'm sorry when you make the mistakes you're going to make traveling in another country, I find that they're much more receptive to you. Watch the weather report, and I have some temperatures here. The average temperatures are in the mid 70s with a range of 63 to 85. So I found that pretty much to be true. So just keep that in mind. You can register with the STEP department if you'd like to. This is for students, so you can enroll individually to give personal contact information. There's a couple apps for walking tours. I also recommend Viator if you want to add in any extra excursions in our free time. And I sent you the itinerary, so you should know what when we have free time. But I found them to be awesome. I did a wine tasting in Paris, my first trip. I know that Cha-Cha and Jaja, our group, we did the Black Cab Harry Potter tour, which was awesome. I love that. I did a sunset sail out of Barcelona last year in Spain. So they are a great company. They have wonderful excursions. I have loved every extra excursion that I've booked. So again, it's Viator, Viator, Viator.com, and you can just type in the city and check out what you want to do. For packing, suitcase limit is 50 pounds. Be sure to pack any kind of sleep aids. Medications will be brought with you on the flight. You also might want to get prescriptions, copies of your prescriptions, or at least take a photo of your prescription with your doctor and let your doctor know that you'll be traveling in case you need refills for whatever reason. Again, copies or photos of your passport, driver's license, debit cards, insurance cards, all that. Emergency and vitamins. I usually get the little emergency packets and I bring them with me, and every morning at breakfast I just add them to a glass of water and take my vitamins there. Backup chargers for electronics. You go through a lot of power and a lot of battery on your phones when you're taking pictures and videos of what you're seeing. So I always bring a backup charger with me, a converter and an adapter. So when you are getting your converters, you need to keep in mind that it doesn't just need to convert to the plug, because it's not the two-prong plug, and different countries, I think they have different ones. Maybe not. I think Italy and Greece might be the same, and I think it's the two-prong, the little round prongs. But just when you get your adapter, also get a converter that adapts or converts the wattage. Otherwise, you'll fry your electronics and you won't have a cell phone anymore to use. So make sure when you buy your converter adapter, that it has both features. We found that hair appliances will not convert for some reason. We had trouble with it. So just know that if you want to use any hair electronics like flat irons or curling irons, that you might want to just invest in a really inexpensive one when you get there, because I know some people had their they just didn't work. It'll either burn out your electronics or your hair appliances, or it just won't work at all. So there will be blow dryers in the hotels, and I have to ask and see if they're going to be on the cruise, but I think it is. Email a copy of your itinerary, especially your flight information, to a friend or a contact, parent, significant other, just so that they know where we are at all times. Bring a pair of sunglasses, bring a bathing suit. One of the great surprises when we went to Greece is that we had a day, we had a free day in Samos, and so a bunch of us went to the beach, and it was so much fun. It was awesome. It was one of our best days. So bring your bathing suit, bring sunglasses, bring a spare pair of glasses or contact lenses, any kind of vision stuff. And I say here at the very end, pack one semi-dressy outfit in case you want to attend church service or a nice dinner. And, just something where you can dress up a little bit in case you want to. Shouldn't take a whole lot of room in your suitcase, but, it's just kind of nice in case you want to do that. Okay, so that's, I think, all the info I have for now.